It's not like those apartments were actually for sale at 250. They all sold at 250 and you're the special one that gets it at 200. It just doesn't work like that. So don't fall for that one. Hi, my name is Jeroen Hoppe. I'm author of the Clapham property blog, and you may have heard my podcast, Down to South London. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 biggest property mistakes that you can make. Starting with number 1, buying discounted off-plan property. It's never discounted. Oftentimes, it's labeled below market value or what have you, but truly, it's not. Because if a block of 25 apartments is built and you're the first one to buy it, there's actually no comparable evidence that the properties are going to sell what they claim it was worth anyway. If they claim that you're buying it at 200 as opposed to 250 and that's a 20% discount, it's not, because they have to sell all the others at 250 to make yours a true 20% discount. And chances are that's not going to happen. You're just the first one to buy one, you probably get it at 200, they might try 225 for the next one, they might get it, they might not, who knows. You're buying something at a discount when there's nothing to refer to as the original price, really. It's not like those apartments were actually for sale at 250, they all sold at 250 and you're the special one that gets it at 200. It just doesn't work like that, so don't fall for that one. Number 2 is being too trusting. So whether you're buying a property to refurbish and you trust your builder, or whether you JV with someone and you forget to use a JV contract, you're just too trusting, they could run off with your money, quite literally. So don't trust people on face value. Don't do business on a handshake. Make sure you check them out, make sure they're bona fide. Even if you've known them for a long time, money changes people. So write things down, have a contract in place, and don't rely on the written word and a handshake. So that's where things go wrong. If you're trusting a builder to just get on with their job and you expect to walk in the day they say they'll be done, you're in for a lot of trouble. You've got to check up on them and make sure that they're working to your timescales. Especially if you're doing stage payments, you should be paying them as the work is completing. You shouldn't be trusting them to get on with it. You should be inspecting that, because after all, it's your money and no one is going to look after your money better than you. So you best make sure you do it. Don't trust them, sort it out yourself. Number 3, the third biggest mistake that I see people make in property is overpaying for the property. So whether you're in an auction and your hand is flying up, or whether you're in a bidding war with another buyer through an estate agency, do your sums, do your little spreadsheet, make sure that you are going to buy the property at the price that you have set and not more. Because ultimately, there's always going to be a fool out there that will pay more than the property is worth and definitely pay more than you. But if you have done your research, you know what your projected end value is, you know what your projected costs are, then you know what you should be paying for that property. So stick to your guns and don't go above it. Don't become what they refer to as a motivated buyer, because ultimately the only one benefiting is the seller. And you'll end up doing a lot of work for very little, if no reward. You don't want to tie yourself into a property purchase, buy it, take 2 months in conveyancing, then do it up for another 3 months, then have it on the market for another 2 months to sell it, and then realize it's overpriced, you got to reduce it. You're into this thing for like 6 to 9 months. You don't want to do all that time, work, effort, and make no money? That'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? So make sure you stick to your guns. Number 4, on the flip side of things, don't be offering too low for the property, because quite frankly, it's insulting to the seller. If you do your figures and you're going to offer £400,000 on a £600,000 property, you best have a really good explanation as to why. Because if you just put the number out there, you're not exactly going to make a lot of friends, are you? Doing a transaction that involves hundreds of thousands of pounds is about building up relationship. If you've got a good relationship with the agent or a good relationship with the seller, if you're direct to vendor that is, then you can put some explanation behind the value that you've chosen to pay for the property. If you just throw a random low number out there, then guess what? It's going to be rejected. And most likely, they're going to reject all sorts of communication from you. They're just going to say no, just on principle. They don't want to sell it to you anymore. So make yourself likable. Make sure you get that lower offer accepted with an explanation. Number 5, and I've done this before as well, don't rely on capital appreciation during the term of the deal in order to get the end result that you want. If you're buying at 200, you're spending 50, and you hope to get 300, well, don't think that you're going to get 300 because the market's moving. It might only be worth 275 or whatever. You got to do your figures on what is happening in the market today. So what would that property be worth if you'd done all the work and did it up and put it back on the market today? And even allow for a 5% margin of error, because quite frankly, you don't know what's around the corner. The political climate, we've had Brexit, you've had a pandemic, you just don't know what's going to happen. So be on the safe side and allow yourself plenty of room for error. So build in a nice juicy margin for yourself. So that's it for today. Those were the top 5 property mistakes that I see people make all the time. If you're interested in more content like this, head on over to claphampropertyblog.com, where I write lots of fun articles that you can read and lots more videos. And check out the podcast on your chosen podcast provider down to South London. If you're interested in coaching, check out my website, jeroenhoppe.com, and I can help you through the ins and outs of property investing in South London or maybe a bit further afield. See you in the next video.